Hey guys, it's Jacqueline and welcome back to another speed build in The Sims 4. Today's video is a container home, modern family house type of thing. It's really a mess, but it's a jungle house, and I really like the way it turned out. But this is actually for a group collab, so it's a really big collab. There's like over 10 creators, I think, and they speak both English and French. Obviously, I don't speak French. I want to someday, but I do not yet. So yeah, there's both French and English speakers, so there's going to be a playlist linked in my description with all of the builds from everybody in it if you guys want to check that out, because I've been seeing a bunch of pictures from people on the Discord of what they've built, and it's so cool. So many people are like amazing builders. Okay, so yeah, definitely check that out. Like I said, it'll be linked in my description, and this whole thing was organized by Camilla on YouTube, who's such a sweetheart. She's so nice, and yeah, so she just got a big group of creators that she likes together, I think, and this whole collab is the Earth Day collab because tomorrow is Earth Day, well technically today while you guys are watching this, April 22nd. So in honor of this planet that we call home, we're doing a whole collab with builds that are just like relevant to the Earth, I guess. So I wanted to do an eco home, and I have built one eco home before. I built a modern eco home a while ago, but that one was like a tiny home, so I think it's okay to do a big one. And also, I repeat styles all the time, so I think overall it's just fine. But anyway, this house is not really like anything I've built before. I know I just said that I built another eco home, but it was definitely not the same style at all. So looking back on this now, watching the build back, it's very obvious I didn't really know where I was going with it at first. I did not have a lot of direction, I will admit that, but I really actually am a fan of the way it turns out. I think it's really cool, and if you have seen a lot of my videos, you know, I don't really play around with terrain tools that much, so I had a fun time doing that. I think usually it just like, I always feel like if you use terrain tools, you have to know where you're going from the start of the build, because like you put the house on a foundation and then you put the foundation on top of the terrain and you're like, yeah, this is a house on a mountain. But I never build houses on mountains because I'm like, I already have enough stuff to think about with the flat, perfectly regular lot. So yeah, but I did like using terrain tools in this one. Every time I've used them, I always feel like it makes the build look cooler, or like, I don't know, more fancy, like larger scale, I guess. Like if you've seen Kate Emerald's videos, first of all, she's a genius and I love her build so much I can't even explain it. But I aspire to have the level of terrain tool usage that she does, because it's just goals to me, you know? So anyway, basically this house is a container house, and I was browsing Pinterest for eco homes because I like looking at them, and I look at a lot of like tiny house eco homes because I've mentioned before my obsession with tiny houses bordering on problematic, but since this isn't a tiny house, I had to look for bigger ones because I really wanted to do like a family type of home. Oh, I should probably mention quickly, this isn't a vacation world, this is in Selvadorada, so you technically speaking cannot live here, but I've been thinking about it and I might re-landscape it so that it could fit into Sulani, because I think it would actually fit pretty well in Sulani, just like based on the style of the build and stuff. I did another modern mansion in Sulani a while back. That's actually the most popular video on my channel, not to flex or anything, but it has 700 whole views. Wow. I'm sorry, that's not yeah, anyway, my channel is tiny. Moving on. Yeah, I really like that build, so I think that they're pretty similar in style and stuff, so I definitely I'm considering re-landscaping this one so that it would fit in there, because like I just want it to be usable, which it is not really being in a vacation world. I mean, obviously you could rent it and stay here, but I did have a storyline in mind for this house. So I was thinking the family that lived here, the parents were both like conservationists, which does not make you crazy. But like by crazy I mean they're very into it. And they really like doing DIY projects and stuff, so I have the woodworking table, but I was also thinking, like, since it's a container home, that's usually a DIY type of house thing, like maybe get a contractor and stuff, but you kind of are in charge of building it a lot yourself. So I was thinking that maybe they had sort of assembled this whole house themselves, and it was just a really big project that they had went. And yeah, that's basically just the culmination of that project is this house, and it's one of those things where there's a lot of like different built-ins and stuff inside of it that they really worked on. I don't know. I don't know, I'm kind of just talking out of my mouth here, out of my brain, never mind. But if you watch like tiny home tours and stuff like that, a lot of the people that built their own houses will talk about how like, they did a bunch of DIY projects, like they made their own bookcases and stuff like that, so that's what I was thinking with this house. And yeah, so the parents are both definitely really creative and also really into the environment. And then I was almost considering making this an off-the-grid house, but I decided not to do that because first of all, I don't really know the restrictions that well of off-the-grid, and I don't exactly want to learn them right now. I will probably do an off-the-grid house at some point. Not today. Today was not the day. But, yeah. So anyways, back to the family. Like I was saying, the parents are really into the whole conservationist thing, and I feel like that really reflects in their house. Like, it's full of plants, it's very rustic, and there's a lot of like nature-y vibes in there, in my opinion at least. And then I do this thing, which I have a tendency to do with children storylines, and I don't know why I do it. Like, I need to get over it because I just use the same storyline over and over again. There's 2 kids, and one of them is very much like influenced by the parents and following in their footsteps, and they also love plants, they love the rustic sort of themes and stuff, and they're probably going to be a conservationist or like something to do with the environment when they grow up, like maybe an environmental lawyer. I don't know why, but I thought that would be cool. I mean, we don't have that in the game obviously, but like, I don't know, maybe the activism career from city living or something like that. And then the other kid is really very they just don't care, frankly. So they kind of want to like maybe become a programmer or something really high tech. I don't know. I just think they kind of think that their parents' whole thing with loving the earth so much is silly or whatever. I don't know. That kid doesn't sound like a very fun kid to me, but whatever. Do what you love, kid. So that kid is actually the one that has like a fancy computer and stuff. The parents and then the child both have laptops. I don't know why. That was just symbolic to me. It's like I'm back in freshman year lit again. Sorry. My teacher from freshman year was kind of stressful. I mean, like, I enjoy lit, but it just, the way that class worked, it was like, you take any random thing and you analyze it so much, and then you're like, yeah, the fact that this character wore a blue shirt in this one scene means that, like, he had a tragic past and his parents died when he was 7 years old, and I'm like, what is happening? But it's fine. Anyway, I promise I'm okay. So, yeah, as you could probably tell, the outside of this house took a really long time to come together, so sort of does the inside, at least to the extent that I didn't really know where I was going with the living room, but after that, I feel like it's fine. And honestly, once I figure out, there's like one corner of the living room I had a ridiculously tough time with, and then once I figured that out, the rest of the build, I was just like, I know the vibes now. It passes the vibe check, and I'm ready. So I went for it. But yeah, this house was built today and yesterday, and it was a pretty long build. It took me like 4 hours, I want to say. I don't really remember because I edited it down quite a bit, and also I was watching Grey's Anatomy while I built this. So there were a lot of like awkward pauses where I just stopped to watch the show for a solid 3 minutes, and then when I was editing it out, I was like, why did I do this? Because I have to go through the whole video, the 4-hour long video, and find all the places where I stopped to watch. So that was really inconvenient for me to impose on myself, but I guess that's a me problem. And yeah, I almost didn't get this build done in time. It's currently, by the way, 12:01 a.m. on April 22nd, so happy Earth Day. Because, yeah, it's pretty late. I feel like I'm back in regular school again, which is not exactly the funnest time, but everything is fine, and it's entirely my fault, by the way. Like, it's totally my fault that I'm kind of coming in pretty late with this one coming in clutch, but, yeah, I don't know. I didn't start it for a while because at first I had a completely different idea, and I was expecting to do, like, a much smaller scale build, and I was like, yeah, this will be fine. I'll knock it out in, like, an hour and a half. It'll be great, and it'll just be, you know, my bohemian, typical, like, white, kind of minimalist type of, okay, I had a really good plan, and I'm probably going to do the build that I was intending, because I was intending on recreating a picture that I found, is that proper English? I am not aware, but, I was planning to do that, and then basically what happened was I was on the Discord and I saw all of these other people that are part of the collab sending their pictures of their fancy builds, and I was like, oh boy, I cannot just post this when everybody else is doing super cool stuff. So I had to do something fancier, and that led to this, some may call it a monstrosity, I would call it a desperate attempt to make something relatively cool. I don't know, it's a growing process. I feel like in the future, if I do another container home, which I probably will, because I really like, I like the concept of it, and also there are so many cool pictures on Pinterest. I was looking at a bunch of pictures of container homes. There's one specifically that I wanted to recreate that it said was in Costa Rica, I think, which is so fancy. Don't even get me started. But the point is that I realized that everybody else's builds were so much better than the one that I was intending to do, and so I had to build this. But like I said, I will probably recreate that other build that I wanted to do at some point. And then I really underestimated the amount of time it would take me to build something like this, because 4 hours is not, I mean, to be fair, I do take a long time to build stuff, and I'm not very familiar with this style, so I should have expected that it would take even longer, but I didn't really anticipate that. And also, school, kind of stressful, you know, it's kind of wild, a lot of stuff going on, but I'm fine, everything is fine. I've just been working all day, yeah, but we're good. And I am just really happy with this build. Like, I'm really happy with the way it came out. I'm really happy that I actually got it out. Everything overall, very fun and very fresh. And this voiceover, oh no, it hasn't been, it's been like 3 months since I said fun and fresh in a voiceover, and I just went back to it. I just can't, I'm sorry. This is what happens when I stay up too late. I get really like very jittery, and that leads to me doing this thing where I shake my legs while I'm talking, which leads to like a weird bouncy jilt in my voice, which, and then like also on the side of that, I'm just kind of delirious, so I'm saying random stuff, and it doesn't work out very well. But that's why, like, if you go back to November, October types of videos for my channel, it's just all like anxious me talking really fast because it's probably like 12 a.m. and I'm like, I gotta get up in 6 hours, and it's just not a pleasant time. But, you know, gotta work hard, get those YouTube videos out. I don't know. I'm being overdramatic, by the way. I don't really, like, honestly, I don't have that much schoolwork this year, and definitely not while we're in this, like, period of, not being able to be assigned that much work, so it's pretty chill. But although teachers are, like, having tests now, and it's stressing me out because I feel like I need to study more than I studied before, because I, like, we're not the same, we're not in class, you know, so we're not learning at the same rate that we would have been before, but they're probably testing us on the same material and expecting us to know the same stuff. But in reality, that's not the case, because first of all, it's an online test. You can cheat. I mean, I'm not recommending cheating, but like they know that people are gonna use open notes and stuff. Like, that's just something that's acknowledged. So genuinely, you do not have to study as much, because you don't have to have the information memorized. You just have to have a basic understanding of the concepts. And also, it's a pass-fail grading system, or they're calling it credit, no credit. I don't know what the difference is. It's the same thing. But you just have to get above a 50% in all of your classes to pass them. But I'm still like, no, I have to study more than I did before. And it's like, okay, get over yourself. Get over yourself. Because first of all, I was like majorly burnt out for most of last semester, so I don't know why I'm acting like I'm a studious person. I was freshman year. I'm not so much this year, but that's fine. Everything is fine. The point is that school is kind of stressful, and like last week, for example, okay, we had our like break, quote unquote, like a spring break, like a week-long thing, but obviously it wasn't really a break, because it's like basically the same thing, because, you know, we couldn't leave our houses. So they called it a break, but they assigned us twice as much work, because they were like, well, you won't have to attend this 1.5 hour Zoom meeting, so you'll have more time to do your work, which means it wasn't really a break, was it, teachers? I'm just gonna put that out there. I don't know, like, it's fine and all, everything is fine, and I'm chill, and I'm gonna stop complaining about school because I'm grateful for my education. Sorry, I always feel so entitled, because I do this thing where I complain a lot, and I always feel so entitled because, like, I know that these are such good problems to have, and I understand that, obviously, but, like, I'm just a complainer. Teenagers at heart are complainers, and I really hate it about myself. It's one of my least favorite characteristics, but I get started and I just can't stop, and then I, like, listen back to a voiceover, and I'm like, this whole thing was me complaining. And, you know, I can't record the voiceover again because, like I mentioned, it's usually 12 a.m. So, oh well. Problems? I think so, but, you know, we'll fix them. So anyway, this is pretty much the end of the downstairs floor for the build, and I don't know, let me know how you guys feel about this style, because I know I mock myself a lot for building a lot of bohemian stuff, because I do. I build a lot of bohemian stuff, a lot of apartments, a lot of like everything. That's just like my default style. When I don't know how to furnish something, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna do white, slightly minimalist, slightly Scandinavian, with a lot of plants. And that's, I don't know, maybe that's not even bohemian and I'm just being like dramatic, but that's what I think of as bohemian. And then there's also like the colorful brand of bohemian, but this is like warm toned, semi-bohemian, semi-industrial, semi-rustic, and I am personally very much of a fan of it. Like, where I got a lot of inspiration for this house was on Pinterest. I mentioned Pinterest too much, but yeah, I look at Pinterest a lot. That's kind of like my chill downtime when I'm like, I need to be productive right now, but I don't really want to do anything, so I'm gonna scroll through Pinterest and be like, yeah, this is inspiration for the build that I have to do. So yeah, but I was looking at a lot of pictures on Pinterest, and I looked up specifically jungle house, like literally jungle house. And if you look up like jungle house living room, jungle house kitchen, jungle house whatever, there are so many pretty pictures. I can't even understand it, especially jungle house living rooms. Those are like my dream living rooms. I can't even tell you. My goal in life would be to live in a house like this. Like, okay, the aesthetic alone is very pleasing to me, but then like the whole eco-friendly thing, like all of it, I'm a fan. I like it a lot. So yeah, also I know, by the way, I'm sorry, parts of this are not exactly eco-friendly. Like if you're talking in terms of like, oh, well, manufacturing this specific element of the house is not the most eco-friendly thing in the world. But you're gonna have to go with me and be like, yeah, the fireplace is not wood burning, it's an eco-friendly alternative. Yeah, this whatever they use to make the countertops is recycled, okay? Just pretend with me, please, because like there's ways to make it work, okay? We gotta make it work, because I can't do everything in the game. So I tried my best, I really did. But I was just kind of in the mood to build something big too, so like I just really went with the flow, you know? We're just going with the flow and chill, everything is chill, and I am so calm, everything is great. Sorry, I'm not calm. Anxiety rears its ugly head for the 50 billionth time in my entire life. So, plants. There's a lot of plants in this build. And I really, honestly, I know I talk about it a lot, but I love plants, like, too much. I only have 7 in my room, and I want more. I realize that only 7 is, like, a weird statement, because most people I don't think have 7 plants in their room, but my family, like my dad especially, loves plants, or I don't know if he loves them per se, but he has a lot of them, and he's very invested in, like, keeping them alive, I guess. And you know, plants grow over time, so you have a plant for like 5 years and then you're like, wow, look at this, I've got a very large plant. So he has a lot of plants, and that's like basically our entire family room is just filled with them. Like there's family room, living room thing, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of plants in my house, and I did not get on the bandwagon with this obsession until like pretty recently. But I just love plants so much, you know? Also, one of my plants is dying, and it's really upsetting me. Like, every time I look at it, I'm just like, I'm so sorry. I really wanted better for you, you know? But I couldn't. I don't know how to fix it. I'm trying really hard. I'm thinking I might have to repot it, because I'm not sure what the issue is. Like, I've tried giving it more sun. In, like, 2-week trial periods, I've tried all of this stuff, okay? I've tried giving it more sun and seeing if it improves, and it did not. I've tried giving it less sun, seeing if that improved it, and it did not. I've tried giving it more water and seeing if it improved, and it did not. And I've tried giving it less water. So those are the only factors that I'm really aware of. As far as my like 2nd grade biology educated me back when we had to like track the growth of plants based on different things that we were giving them. So I don't really know what else I need to do to help this dear plant. So I think I might have to repot it, because it might have root rot, because that's the only thing I can really think of at this point. And luckily I have another plant, because I had to repot one of my other plants recently, so I have another pot to put that plant in should I decide to do that, because it's not like I'm gonna go out and buy a pot for my dying plant. I'm having a hard time with speech, but it's fine. So yeah, I will probably do that and keep you guys updated, because I'm sure you're just very invested in the endeavors of my plants and stuff. I don't know. I have one friend that I just always text about my plants and like tell her everything about them, because I get very excited by them. Like when I first bought, okay, I bought a lot of plants like all at once in January, December, I don't know. but I got very excited about it, and I was just texting her for literally an hour being like, I'm so excited, I can't wait for when they start growing, and it was dumb. It was really dumb, but, you know, I don't know, I think sometimes you embrace your dumb side and it becomes like a cute little quirk. Maybe, hopefully that happens, you know? I don't know, I kind of just go with it, and we're just enjoying life, you know? Everything is very fun, and I almost said fun and fresh, like unironically again, but I caught myself. I'm sorry, these are very long voiceovers, and I don't really know what to talk about, and it gets problematic to some extent, because I think, also, the thing is, for a while, like, I'm not really trained for over 20-minute voiceovers, because for trained, I say that like it's something that you have to practice or something. I mean, it is something you have to practice, but you know what I mean. But, for a while, I never made any video over 20 minutes, because I was watching this one girl's speed build. One single time, someone said this, and it stuck with me for so long, but she was like, yeah, I never make my speed builds over 20 minutes, because I just think that people don't they don't have that long of an attention span, and you just can't expect them to watch for that long, and like they won't even click on the video if it's over 20 minutes. And I was like, oh my god, she's right, I can't make my videos over 20 minutes anymore. And so then I didn't make my videos over 20 minutes long, and then I just like for a very long time I was like, no, I can't build a big house because it'll be over 20 minutes and nobody will want to watch that, which, you know, might be true. My views are going down a lot on my videos lately, but like, to be fair, they've been pretty short lately, so I don't think that's really the cause. The cause is probably inconsistency, or I'm just annoying, I don't know, having a crisis, but that's irrelevant. But the point is that I am very bad at long voiceovers, I think for that exact reason, because I was always like, yeah, I'll just like come up with some stuff to talk about, rant about my life a little bit, you know, the usual, and then by that time 20 minutes will be up. But that's what I've been doing, and now I'm just sitting here rambling pretty much, and I don't really have anything else to talk about, and I kind of sucks, I think. So I need to probably think of something to talk about. I don't know, let me know if you guys do voiceovers for builds, how you do that, because I know some people just talk about the build the whole time. I really can't, because I feel like at some point it just gets boring, you know? Like, what am I gonna say? Oh yeah, I picked this plant because I thought it was like really cute. Like, yeah, you know, everything I put down in the build I think is cute. But I guess I can try that. So I really like this room. I love the bed from Tiny Living. It's not the Murphy bed, it's just one of the single beds, and I really like it. And I love the pattern on the quilt also. I just think in general it really fits the aesthetic very well. Can you tell that I'm like faking it? I don't know. But I do, like, sometimes I do talk about the build and it's very genuine, but I just feel like at this point, I don't know, I don't think anybody can save me now. But this is the room for the kid that does not care about the environment, or it's not even that they don't care, they're just like, okay, my parents are dumb and they're trying to save the world by themselves. And they just, you know, want to program stuff and play their video games. I don't know. I have a very stereotypical idea of a computer nerd, which is probably not fair of me, because to some extent you could probably call me a computer nerd. Like, I mean, I don't know how to program at all. I have some friends that do, though, because, yeah, a lot of people where I live know how to program stuff, but some of my friends are really good at it, so, like, imagine being them. Couldn't be me, but, like, you know, at least I play The Sims, so I do something on a computer regularly. I say that like it's a good thing. I don't know. Speaking of computers and screens, my screen time has been so high lately, and it's really upsetting to me. Like, I mean, it's been gradually going down. Like, the second I became aware of it, I was like, this has to stop. So then my screen time dropped like 2 hours per day really fast, because I was like, nope, I cannot have this be my statistic. It's really upsetting to me. So, yeah, it's technically lower now. The thing is, lower than it was before is still really upsetting, because before it was like 8 hours a day, which, to be fair, okay, so I watch Netflix on my phone, so there's that, and I tend to watch Netflix or YouTube or whatever, like, in the background, because I'm either always listening to podcasts or musicals or music or Netflix or YouTube, and so I don't really consider it like screen time if I'm, like, let's say cleaning my room, but then I have a YouTube video on in the background, you know. But a lot of stuff that I do, like if I'm doing math homework, I'll have a YouTube video on in the background, because I cannot focus when there's no noise, because then I just start thinking and it's bad. So, I mean, obviously you're supposed to think while you do math homework, but, like, you know what I mean, your mind wanders. So I need to have something that's going on that just, like, occupies my subconscious while I'm, like, busy working on stuff. And I know this doesn't apply to everybody, because some people like literally cannot have any noise or they won't focus. I'm completely the opposite, I think, which is why I really don't thrive on tests and stuff. Like I do fine on them usually, but I'm always like, it's so quiet. It's so like, there needs to be some background noise, in my opinion. But anyway, the point is that contributes to my screen time, obviously, because I don't have anything else that I could watch it on, so I have to watch it on my phone. So then it like adds to the screen time, and so I have been consciously making the decision to listen to podcasts or music over Netflix or YouTube when I'm doing stuff now, because I'm like, I gotta get this screen time down, because even though technically it doesn't change the amount of time I'm looking at a screen at all, it's the numbers that upset me, you know, so I need to fix the numbers. And now it's like 4 hours a day, which is still really upsetting, because I used to have like an exceptionally low screen time and I kind of prided myself on it. Like I had like, at some point I had like 45 minutes a day on my phone, and I was like, wow, I am so good at not being a stereotypical teenager. Like, look at me, baby boomers, I'm so much better than you. I mean, not better than you, you know what I'm saying. I'm like going against the grain, and that was a good thing in my eyes for some time, but now I am just like, I don't have anything else to do, so I'm kind of going crazy, so I have to use my phone a lot, which is really upsetting, because now the numbers are going up and I just feel a very intense need to get my screen time down. So the thing is though, like that's not even counting the time I spend playing The Sims, which is like hours a day, and the time I spend on like schoolwork, which is a lot more than hours a day. Like, so I don't know, it's not really accurate. Basically the point is technology is taking over our lives and there's nothing we can do about it, so I just have to stop caring that much about my screen time, but then the other thing is that I get really scared about it, because like technically speaking, we do not know the detriments of like looking at a screen for that long. Like, of course we know TVs, like people are old enough where they've been watching TV since childhood and we can study the effects of that. We cannot study the effects of up close, like looking at phone screens. We don't know what that does to a person, so like, you know, I don't know, we could all be killing ourselves right now, technically speaking, but it's fine. Everything is fine. Can you tell that I'm a very anxious person? Anyways, that is the end of the video, so thank you so much for watching. If this was your first video with me, yes, I am always this crazy, and I'm sorry about that. Anyways, I really hope you appreciated. No, I keep saying appreciated. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you can leave a like and comment to let me know. Subscribe and click the bell for notifications if you want to see more videos, and if you want to play in this lot, it will be on the gallery. My Sims 4, my origin ID is in the description. That is it. Bye.